Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brian from USA.Patriot.Cards, and it's last call on quarterbacks. This isn't just about this season. If you're a football card collector, if you're a quarterback card collector, this is about trying to figure out who is the best of this unbelievable young crop of quarterbacks. A couple of those guys have already been knocked out. There might be some opportunities to buy low on those guys. Two of these guys, I think, are surprises that are here today. And then two are jockeying for what I would argue would be the top quarterback in the game. You know, it can be hard to make moves the closer you get to a big game. And there's a certain number of places that you can go with a surety that you can buy a card and you know that that's going to be shipped to you no matter what the outcome of the game is. Alt, PWCC, My Slabs, I think, is a pretty safe place because if someone doesn't ship a card that they own, then they lose their account. You have to be careful. What a lot of guys will do is they'll win bids the night before or even the day of on a player that's playing in a big game, and then they have 3 or 4 days to pay, so they'll just sit on it. All right, let's get into it. So I broke it up into two stacks. The stack on the right are players that their seasons are already over, and I have to figure out sort of what I'm going to do with these cards. Am I going to hold them long term? Am I going to look to flip as the season approaches next season? And then the stack on the left is guys that either are still in it today or they made it really late. And so I kind of want to talk about my plan for those two. So let's start with this side. Of course, we'll save him. We'll put him at the bottom. All right. We all know what happened to Tua. Looked great for about 6-8 weeks and then got hurt, had a couple concussions, and frankly looked really bad. I do have a pretty nice Tua bag here. I bought all of these early before the season started, so I'm into them at a decent price. I should have probably sold them, but honestly, I think as far as Tua is concerned, I still think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think he's going to be right up there with all the other AFC great quarterback, young crop of great quarterbacks, especially with his weapons that he has. So that's a great card, isn't it? The Blue Ice 10. So that's a great card. I got the orange because the Dolphins have orange and blue. So I got the light blue. All color matches. And then the silver. I'm just going to hold him. I mean, what else can I do? The hobby gives chances and chances and chances until they don't. And you have to know sort of how to ride that line. But as far as Tua is concerned, I'm not ready to move off of him just yet. Here's a guy I'm not so sure about. I mean, he didn't get his contract. I mean, he wasn't willing to go out there and play hurt, and I don't blame him. Maybe he could have. Maybe if he was signed long-term already, he would have. But I think I'm good with just one Lamar Jackson. And if I had to pick one, I think this might be it. It's a blue scope. It's out of actually 15. I could take this off and open this up and show you, but just trust me on that. It is serial printed out of 15. Whereas the Josh Allen and traditionally all the blue scopes from 2018 are out of 99. I have a pretty high price tag on this just because it is such an amazing piece. And so I will be looking to move this at some point. I think Lamar's going to have a chance to come back and reestablish himself. But even between these two, I think I would be more prone to hold Tua's longer. But as soon as the right deal comes along for this Lamar, I'll probably move it. And then we have Josh Allen, who many thought going into the season was better than Mahomes. I think Josh Allen's career is still very, very promising. I will say, though, that there's a hierarchy being established, and today is going to go very far in helping establish that hierarchy of Burrow-Mahomes, or Mahomes-Burrow, and everybody else. This is a retail, but it's a super short print. I think there's less than 10, maybe less than 20. It's not numbered, but I challenge you to go out and find a green Prism auto. They're hard to find. They did come out of retail. The green Prism rookies without the auto, you know, those are all out there. You see those all the time. But the auto green, at one point, this was a pop 1. I think it's a pop 2 now. And of course, that's with the 210s. But I think there's probably less than 5 of these graded, all told. So this is a really big card that would be perfect for a really big Josh Allen collector. But he's got to like regain some footing in the hobby that he lost. So all I can do is hold this. This one is the color match blue. It's out of 99. This is a 10K card. At least it was. It might come down a little bit, but between these two, I think probably this is more desirable. But this will always have a smaller pop count, and it will always be, I think, just as big as the blue scope. Especially for somebody that wants to do like complete a rainbow, or like I said, like a big time Josh Allen collector who wants to have, you know, all the parallels or as many as they can get. I'd wait maybe another month on Josh Allen if you're going to pick him up. Okay, next is this guy. So, sorry, there we go. Trevor Lawrence, what a ride he was on this season. I went out and bought this 8 for $40 just because I liked the card, and you know, somebody pulled this out of a pack and graded it and got an 8. I mean, is it less exciting to pull this versus a PSA 10? I mean, maybe if you can tell the centering's off a little bit. Still, this was an exciting pull for somebody. Now it's in my hands. I have the card. I don't have the grade, but for $40 I had to do it. And then on this one, I picked up this. This is the variation. Unnumbered optic, and I picked up the red out of 75, which I ended up moving a couple days ago in a deal for a card that I'll show you here in a second. But this is about a $600-700 card. I will keep this. Has a chance to gem. As far as Trevor Lawrence is concerned, I mean, you're gonna have to pay. There's not gonna be another dip in him. If you want to own a Trevor Lawrence rookie, you got to go get it. It's kind of where it's at. And then we're down to the last. Now, I will say something about Brock Purdy. I don't own any Brock Purdy cards. I don't open wax. So some of the sets that he was in, I just had really no chance of pulling a Brock Purdy because I don't open packs. I don't know anything about this kid other than that he's good enough to play in that system and get to the NFC Championship. I mean, that's something. That's not nothing. But if I was gonna get a Purdy, it'd be a Prism, or an Optic Contenders. So I'd have to wait on those. I'd have to wait for sort of his story to be told a little bit as far as what he's gonna do this postseason, and at the risk of him winning the Super Bowl, and I mean, his Donruss Elites and his Spectras and all that kind of stuff, going to the moon for a little bit until the Prisms and the, you know, Immaculates and stuff, optics come out. I'm just going to take that chance. The other quarterback we're going to talk about today is Jalen Hurts. And there was a post the other day on one of the Facebook groups about why isn't Jalen Hurts getting the love that this person thought he deserved, or why his cards weren't going up in the hobby more. And my answer was, for me, I still have this vision of Jalen Hurts having to be pulled in the national championship game, and then Tua being inserted into the game and taking Alabama to the title, you know, winning the title in the second half in overtime. What a great game. And then Hurts had to transfer to Oklahoma, where he did have a great senior season, and then he came into the NFL, and he's really been a surprise for me, and I think many others. But I think at the beginning of last season, or this season, at the beginning of this football season, I was looking at quarterbacks, and I think I made a choice that I'm going to choose Tua instead of Hurts as somebody to get into, and that was a mistake. At this point, I have to say, obviously, that was a mistake. I should have taken a chance on Hurts. I should have put my money into Hurts. You better, I was going to say you better believe I'd be selling today, but honestly, I'd probably be so like charged up by his performance all season that I'd probably get an emotional attachment to all his cards, and I probably wouldn't sell them. That's what typically happens to me, is I start falling in love with these things, and then when it's time to move them when you think they're at the top. It's hard to do, but Jalen Hurts was a miss for me. Next is Mahomes. Obviously, he's going against Burrow today. And I got a huge bag of Mahomes. I really do. I've always had a big bag of Mahomes. I got in big on Mahomes in 2018. I had a one-of-one National Treasures card that I sold and did really, really well on. And so I reinvested a lot of that money into other Pat Mahomes stuff. In that trade, I acquired this, which is, oh my gosh. Every time I hold this card, I can't believe I actually own it. It's a field level gold true rookie out of Select, 6 out of 10. No, was it? He's 15. Yeah. This is 6 out of 10. So that's a big card. Got this silver version with really great subs. Got a 10 and 395s, and then the 2 prisms that I still have are this. What I like the orange. I think they're great. The orange out of 249 PSA 10, and then this, which I traded for this, and the bulk of my trade was Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So that trade is looking really good right now that I made for this. I think the guy I traded with sold all that stuff pretty early though, so I don't think he got stuck on that deal. But yeah, to be able to acquire this out of 25, I have it up on my sites right now for 25K. I would take that right now for it. You don't see them come up often. They're super low pop. So the story on Mahomes, I actually sold a bunch of his and traded a bunch of his cards at the last Dallas card show. So I had this silver prism, and this card went in the blue Luca prism deal. I also had this green scope double dime, which was so hard to let go, but I sold it to my friend, and he has it now. But I did make some good money. I didn't make money on it. I got money, but as far as where I went into that card and where I exited that card, I was about the same. I didn't really make any money. I just liquidated it. And then I also had, what was the other one? Oh, I had this card in a PSA 10. So that is $485. That's almost 20K in Mahomes stuff that I sold at the last Dallas show. And I still have like a really large Mahomes bag. So it's hard for me, right, not to say, well, I'm hoping Mahomes wins. Like, why wouldn't I have a gold field level select? I have a camo prism. Like, let's go Mahomes. But honestly, after having moved 20K of him and then putting some of that back into this next player I'm going to show you, I gotta say, I'm kind of rocking with the Bengals today. Look at that thing. The Contenders Optic Red. This is out of 199. 173 out of 199. The guy I traded to get this had this in this Slab Strong, which I typically don't, but I just think it looks really cool on this particular card. So, but it won't fit in my case, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But yeah, I got this, which I paid some money and traded that red Trevor Lawrence for. He's local, so we did the deal Friday night. Picked that up Friday night. And then late last night, I bought this, which is the orange prism PSA 10 color match. I used to own this card. I traded it. Actually, I got back into it at less of a price than what I got out of it the first time. So I guess I did okay. But I think just the market's in a different place. This isn't probably the end of my Burrow bag hunting, because I really, really, really think he's that good. But this is going to have to do for now. I can't really acquire anything else until this game, just because it's, as I'm sitting here making it, kickoff's in about 3 hours. So You run into that whole thing about, well, if Burrow has a great game and you've already committed to buy something online, is that seller going to sell and honor that sale, even though maybe he could get 50%, 70%, 100% more? So my moves have been made on Burrow. I can't really do anything else, but I'm in a position where no matter what happens in that AFC Championship game, I'm going to be a little bit sad and a little bit happy. But I think if I was able to pick who I wanted to win, I think I'd pick Joe Burrow. Because at that point, I will have gotten off some of the Mahomes that I got off of at a good time. And I would have invested that back into Burrow at a good time. And then we'll just see where we stand going into next year when both these guys have Super Bowl championships. Both of them will have one ring. It will be a constant debate, I'm sure, until somebody gets 2 rings about who's better, Burrow or Mahomes. I just couldn't go into today with no Burrows. Because if this kid wins today, his stuff's going crazy. It's going nuts. And I held a bag of Burrows at this same point last year when they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and for 2 weeks I had a chance to dump all those Burrows probably at a nice price, but I was in love with his cards and I didn't move them, and I rode into the Super Bowl with them, and we all know how that turned out. But I had to make some late moves just to get some Burrow in the stable, and now that I have done that, I think I can just sit back and relax and watch the game come what may. That was 28 minutes about, how to position yourself in the playoffs with quarterbacks, or at least how I positioned myself in these playoffs with these quarterbacks. One last thing I'll say is I used to hate optic contender. I used to think that it was the true contender or nothing. Like that's the set the Brady rookies in, and we don't need some new shiny thing to come in and be basically an identical product to a classic paper product that has stood the test of time, and on card autos, and just the Contenders paper. True Contenders is a huge flagship, gorgeous, awesome, amazing, top-notch, chef's kiss football set. But I'm coming around on these optic Contenders. I mean, the only difference is they're a little cheaper and they have colors. The true paper Contenders don't have colors. They have rookie, they have playoff, they have championship ticket, they have Super Bowl ticket. That's the parallels, is just the ticket name. Well, in optic Contenders, they're all rookie tickets. They just have different colors. The red, the blue, the teal, the orange. Man, I'd love to get an orange. But honestly, this looks like a decent color match. But I'm coming around on optic Contenders. I mean, it's a rookie, it's chrome, it's got colors, it's got the on-card auto. So I'd like to apologize to Contenders Optic. I'd like to say that I am now 100% behind you. I stand behind you, and I was super happy to pick this up last night, 2 nights ago. Well, we're about an hour away from the NFC game, and then it's showtime. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging out, and I'll talk to you after the games. All right, see ya.